one thing to come to Asheville for a visit, but today I'm going to show you how to roll like a local. We're going to go on a bike tour through the Greenway and the River Arts District. We're going to stop at some local hotspots and recreation places, and we're going to have a great time. So let's go! It's been over 30 years since its conception, but the Greenway project, originally conceived by Riverlink, is one of the best things to happen to Asheville residents and proof that city planners do listen to their constituents. The project was an effort to revitalize a formerly abandoned and industrial area in response to public outcry for a more pedestrian-friendly city. We are here at the beginning, in Hominy Creek, at the first river put in for kayaking, paddleboarding, and tubing, and where we start our biking journey. If you aren't a local, this spot can be hard to find, but it's definitely a hidden gem. Located off of Brevard Road and Interstate 240 at 220 Hominy Creek Road, this unassuming two-lane pass leads to Hominy Creek Park. At the end is French Broad River Outfitters, where you can rent any type of river gear that you might want, listen to some music, grab a brew, or jump into the creek with your pups. But we are hitting the trail. The most highly trafficked section of the Greenway runs from Hominy Creek through the River Arts District, creating a loop connecting 4 urban parks, multiple river accesses, along with restaurants, art galleries, a myriad of businesses, and a ton of outdoor activities. It truly is a marvel and a real game changer for turning Asheville into a bike-friendly city, as you will see on our ride today. The Greenway now has multiple sections completed, with a culminating goal of connecting 10.25 miles of trails from the French Broad River throughout River Arts and circling downtown to the South Slope, through the urban trail and across Bowcatcher Mountain through a program called Close the Gap, making Asheville more pedestrian and commuter friendly and taking recreational advantage of the river access that is so readily available. We will go under 4 of the biggest major highways in the city, making previously locked off areas accessible to pedestrians and creating more opportunity for economic growth in urban areas. It's also relaxing to just get out and enjoy some time in nature without having to drive so far away from home. As we pass the first mile marker, we are headed into the largest urban park in the city, Carrier Park. Carrier Park is home to the former Asheville Motor Speedway, a third of a mile short track which hosted the NASCAR Grand National or Winston Cup for the first time back in 1962. Racing legends were born here like Richard Petty, Ralph Earnhardt, and Junior Johnson. My family and I would come here on the weekends, and I remember a story from when I was 10 years old. I so wanted to be a big girl, and my mom let me go to the concession stand alone and get us all hot dogs and Cokes. So I was watching the track in the race and knocked my feet as I returned to my seat, and I tripped and spilled everything down the back of this poor man. He stood up and he had on these overalls and a big straw hat, and I braced myself for a good tongue lashing, and instead he said, "Come on, young lady, it looks like you need a refill." He bought everything that I dropped and made sure that I made it safely back to my seat and my family. And that was the South of my childhood, full of the kindness of strangers. The racetrack is still here, but it is now the Mellow Drone, where you can cycle or skate. The infield hosts a roller hockey rink, playground, basketball courts, sand volleyball courts, and a baseball field. Heading up the river, Lookout Point is a great place to people watch. But if watching is not your thing, grab a tube from Zen Tubing, jump in the water, and join them. And if you desire a true urban mountain experience, the Wrongway River Lodge is a great place to stay. This A-frame cabin getaway has an attached climbing wall and river outfitters right next door. Just walk across the street, jump in the river, or head out on the trail. And if you're looking for a more permanent home, the houses up above along Joyner Avenue and Riverview Drive boast some of the best river and city views you can find. The river takes a sharp turn to the north and we go into French Broad River Park, a great place to picnic and the largest dog park in the city. Located at the 3-mile marker, the dog park has separate spaces for both large and small dogs, benches, and water bowls. It's a safe space to let your furry friends run free. One of the newest sections to be completed, we continue downriver, headed towards the top of River Arts and our first tasty treat of the day, New Belgium Brewery. You can see some fabulous views of the art studios from this side. Also, this is my favorite part of the trail as it's very rolly like a roller coaster. And if you are lucky, you can join an Asheville raft or tube party. Everybody ties together, throw a cooler in the water, and have some fun. So now we're passing the working side of New Belgium, and here you can take a brew tour and learn all about the beer business, but we're going to go around to the front and see what's happening. So FYI, if you are looking for an investment property or a low-maintenance urban condo, these are the landings. They have studios, 1 and 2 bedroom units, which range from the low 400s to mid 600s. New Belgium is not just a brewery, but a hangout spot for both locals and tourists. They hold fun events on the weekends, are dog friendly, and have 2 awesome food trucks with a rotating menu. It's also a fun place where you can come during the colder months because they do have an outside fire pit going, they have outdoor heaters, and there's usually a band or 2 playing. And of course, you have to grab a brew. So, cheers! Leaving New Belgium, we are crossing the Cravin St Bridge, and from here, you can get a sense of how important the river really is to everybody that lives in Asheville. This entire area is open to the public and free to use. And what's even more incredible is that it's right here in the heart of the city. No driving required. So I'm a taco loving girl, and we are going to my favorite taco place in the city. We are heading over to White Duck. So we are passing under the Smoky Park Bridge, largest bridge in the city, and on your right, you are going to see the Smoky Park Supper Club. This is more of a fine dining restaurant. It's open for dinner only, but it makes for a really nice date night out. They also have a tailgate organic market here every Wednesday. And now we are at the Duck. Set in an eclectic Quonset hut, which used to be an automotive shop, this White Duck Taco has a fantastic menu. It's super laid back, and if you get a chance, you gotta have the watermelon sangria. So now that our tummies are full, we're going to head back south into the soul of the River Arts District. This is Gallery Row. These buildings were former automotive shops, equipment supply houses. We had some poultry and textile processing plants. They've all been transformed into art galleries and studios, and some of them even hold classes. The studios have artists in residence that welcome the public with demonstrations in glass blowing, pottery, painting, and numerous other mediums. But let's take a little pit stop at the Wedge off of Depot Street. The Wedge is both a brewery and an art studio, but this complex also has my favorite wine bar, Bottle Riot, and one of my favorite restaurants, the Bull and Beggar, which is an English-style pub. So a couple of weeks ago, I went on a foraging tour in the forest with my husband, and we brought wild mushrooms and flowers back to the Bull and Beggar, and they made an unexpectedly delicious dinner for us. It was a great experience. So I'm always looking for new real estate opportunities for my clients, and this building is being revitalized into condos. So when I get more information, I'll let you know, but the face of the city is always changing. So a lot of people ask me why we have so much graffiti in Asheville, and it's actually not an accident. Back in 2000, Asheville took something that was viewed as an urban problem in other cities and they turned it into a movement. We are now known as a city of living art. So the graffiti on these old abandoned buildings is actually encouraged by city planners to continue our commitment to creating more jobs in the arts. Asheville employs over 14,000 artists and brings in over 76 million art dollars annually, demonstrating that art can also be lucrative. So on our left here is 12 Bones, a fantastic barbecue restaurant. You gotta get the rack of ribs. And this complex is known as Foundation Studios. It's an entire row of various different types of artists and antique dealers, but it also has my new favorite home store, which you all are going to love. This is Marquee. So of course you're going to see all types of art here, and it's all beautifully unique. But this store also has furniture, and it also has a lot of home furnishings like vases and lamps and chandeliers. It has some really neat aesthetic. So I'm a huge fan of mid-century modern furniture, and I absolutely love this table and chairs. I thought that was a great find. So now we're headed over to another revitalization project where the coolest of the cool can be found. We are going to the skate park on Foundy Street. Just make sure that you don't leave your shoes lying around. So this space was an abandoned parking lot for decades, and then the city decided, hey, here's another solution to an urban problem. Let's turn this old abandoned parking lot into a skate park. And so they put in ramps, tunnels, half pipes, and you can find the younger, or at least the more flexible set, loves to hang out here. Just make sure to bring your elbow and your knee pads.
Thank you for joining us on our biking tour of the River Arch District, showing you how the locals roll on the weekend. This is Amy Brown with Selling ABL. Have a wonderful day.